Hi, I'm Ian Bremmer, and just want to talk a bit about the importance of foreign policy in this 2016 presidential election. I've been saying for some time that I think that the United States is not in decline, but that American foreign policy is. And I think the reason for that is that for the last 25 years, really since the Soviet Union has collapsed, we've lacked a strategy. We know what we don't want. We don't want to be the world's policeman. We don't want to fix everyone else's problems, but we don't really know what we stand for, and frankly, neither do our allies. And in that context, I would argue that our foreign policy has been largely risk-averse and then reactive, and sometimes massively so. You know, over the last 25 years, the greatest damage that's been done to the United States was, in my view, the extraordinary overreaction to 9/11. It was trillions of dollars. It was, thousands upon thousands killed, of course, not just Americans, but all over the world. And it was an enormous hit to America's foreign policy credibility in the region and more broadly. And yet, ultimately, the overreaction to 9/11 was mitigated massively by the fact that the United States was so strong at that point in the influence it had all over the world. It was very easy to get allies to support us. The Europeans were pretty coherent, and the transatlantic relationship was extremely strong. The Russians were reasonably aligned and willing to be supportive of the United States, even helped to open some bases for the US in Central Asia, for example. And China was pretty small. What worries me is that absent a foreign policy strategy, we're going to have another big shock, whether it's another big terrorist event or a massive cyber attack or something climate related, or the next SARS or MERS scare that's much bigger. Whatever it is in the next 10 and the next 20 years, when it comes, if we continue to operate absent any strategy, absent any sense of mission, we're going to overreact again. But overreacting the way we did to 9/11 in an environment where the Europeans are weak and the transatlantic relationship is at its weakest point in the past decades, where Russia is really feeling cornered and actively wants to undermine American interests and institutions around the world, where China's big and in fact soon will be the world's largest economy and absolutely does not support or align itself with American values and standards and institutions. If we overreact in that context to the next big crisis, this is not something we just dig ourselves out from. This is something that's going to hurt us and our children. And I think for that reason, we have to pay so much more attention in this 2016 election to the importance of the leaders that are running for our votes, for what they believe in, what they say they believe in, and what they're planning on committing to, because the importance of a foreign policy strategy for the president that will likely govern us for another 8 years is really so much greater than at any point, certainly in my lifetime and experience as a political scientist. I do believe the good news is that this 2016 election, a lot of Americans intuitively understand that. They get that our foreign policy has been very challenged. They get that we don't know what we stand for, and they want to hear that from the candidates. So I certainly believe that we're going to have a much more substantive debate on foreign policy, but that doesn't mean that the president that we get is ultimately one that's going to really carry out that strategy. And so I hope that that this is going to be something that we will be debating actively and demanding with all of our voices from the people that are campaigning over the next year and many months for our votes. And with that, I'll close this video. Thank you very much.